Welcome everyone to the City of Churches. I'm Gerald McDornan and it's great to have your company wherever you're watching on the 10 network right around Australia for round number 4 of the 97-98 Goodyear Australian Super Speedway Series. Now this round is a little bit different from the rounds gone by in that the Adelaide International Raceway is just a half-mile oval and a flat track, unlike the Goodyear Thunderdome at Calder Park in Melbourne, which is a 1.1 mile tri-oval with 24-degree bank turns. And with the AC Delco Cup cars, the Strathfield National cars, the Konica Sportsmans, and also the Holden Quality Parts HQs, it should make for some very interesting racing, George Elliott.
Gerald, interesting racing is an understatement. We are in for a sensational night of motor racing here. You know, it's a half-mile circuit. The guys don't have anywhere as much room as they do at the Thunderdome, and they all want to lead the race from lap 1. So anything can happen from the word go.
And of course, with the track being virtually flat, the setup on the cars is totally different, and it should bring some of the lead cars back to the field. You know, there's everyone has expertise on different tracks.
Yeah, well, the guys that work hard at being fast on the Thunderdome now have a whole new ball game thrown to them. They need to change all of their setup and throw all of their tactics out the window. You know, you mentioned this track is fairly flat. It's very flat. 3 turns are flat. The 4th turn, in fact, turn 4 for the AC Delco Cup cars, actually banks off the opposite way. It's got opposite camber, and that really creates a handful in those cars.
Well, it should make for some interesting racing wherever you're watching on the 10 network. So sit down, strap yourselves in. You're on for a fast and exciting ride here at Adelaide International Raceway. Well, the Strathfield National cars are almost ready to begin. Nathan Prendergast has caught up with some of the drivers, including Marshall Brewer.
Marshall, you're a man who's done probably more miles around a super speedway than most, but how do you find it on the tight confines of Adelaide?
Well, the track is certainly taking its toll of late. Last couple of years we haven't done very well here at all. We have been fastest for the last couple, or one of the fastest cars for the last couple of days, and we're a little bit disappointed during qualifying, just quietly. If we had ended up in the 3rd position, I wouldn't have been so disappointed, but being 4th is in a very hard spot for us.
Well, Wayne Smith, you did 1 round of Calder and someone's changed the track on you. Do you like it here at Adelaide?
Yeah, it's a good little track. It's a really tough little bull ring track, and it's very hard to set up on, very hard to drive. You've got to just build yourself up gently like we have all week. The Supercharged team has really worked very hard this week. We've just taken every little step, one at a time, might get a little bit faster, and we went 6/10 faster than in qualifying, and we hope we're there at the end. This circuit has to be more aggressive. You have to be aggressive, and we're going to have to be aggressive at the start and try and get away and try and get a bit of a break and get a little bit of a gap on our own so that you can concentrate. It's a circuit that'll bite you. You can destroy a car here quicker than Thunderdome.
Well, the Strathfield National cars are out, and Wayne Smith will be hoping he won't destroy a car. Darren McDonald and Richard Howe off the front row, Eddie Abel-Nisa and Marshall Brewer off row 2.
Row 3, Matthew White. Alongside of Matthew is Nathan Preddy, Richard Howe and Wayne Smith directly behind them.
Daryl Spears and Tim Dombre make up row 5, and Nicole Pretty and Armand Charter make up row 6, and Jason Morrell row number 7, as we get ready for the green flag here at Adelaide International Raceway, the Strathfield National Cup cars.
Well, the green flag's waved. Oh, and first corner, first lap. Look at the bay.
Crash, bang, and they have all gone a row. Caution is actually on the racetrack, George Elliott, but boy, there was some carnage in there. There's Marshall Brewer. He has copped the hit. The 2 DeWalt Goodyear cars of the Prettys, Nicole and Nathan. Let's have a look at a Repco replay in slow-mo here. And Eddie Abel-Nisa in all sorts of bother. There goes Matthew White around in the freighter car. And Swan Lake on 4-wheel.
Well, I think what's happened there is that McDonald has set the pace. He's actually got out of the gas probably a little bit earlier than everybody else anticipated. And Eddie's had to get out of the gas, get on the brakes. That set his car up light and started to turn it round on cold tyres. Here we go again.
This is Wayne Smith's supercharged car, and he just went around and touched the wall nice and lightly. Let's have a look out the back of Eddie Abel-Nisa's Melbourne Cheapest Cars Commodore. And there's Brewer in the background, and bang, Brewer goes into the back of him, turns him around. And as you're saying, George, perhaps it is that Darren McDonald, who rightly controls the speed at the start of the race, may have gone in a little bit slow.
Well, that's right. And, you know, unlike the Thunderdome, where you have the really super high speeds running into the turn, you really do need to get out of the gas a little bit here at Adelaide, especially on the first lap when your tyres are cold. And I think that McDonald's got out of the gas. The guys didn't quite anticipate it. Eddie's backed off, probably got a little loose or a little bit light in the back, and then Marshall's come up behind him. Bit of a tag, and one thing's led to another, as you can see.
Richard Howe has some problems in the Fentric Gully Bolts car, the number 11 car. Let's go down to Nathan Prendergast on Primus pit lane.
Nathan Preddy, a fair bit of commotion on the first turn. How did you see it, mate?
Oh, I mean, we're racing for sheep stations out here, so a few of them think. I mean, I don't see why we can't just take it easy at the start, you know, and get through the start and go racing. Not this sort of stuff. This is ridiculous.
Eddie Abel-Nice, a lot of dramas on the first turn. How'd you see it?
Well, I mean, McDonald braked really early. It looked like I gave him a bit of a tap in the back. But I think it's caused a chain reaction, and whoever was behind me gave me a big serve, and away we went. So hopefully there's not too many of us out.
Well, we called it exactly right, George. On the restart now for the Strathfield National Cup, Darren McDonald and Jason Wiley lead them away into turn number 1, riding with Eddie Abel-Nisa in the Melbourne Cheapest Cars Commodore. And we should mention, George, the temperature is soaring here in Adelaide, 42 degrees.
Amazingly hot, and you know, the track temperature itself, I'd hate to think what that is, but even so, the guys still need to settle down for a couple of laps, let the heat build up in their tyres so that they really start to work. Adelaide being such a flat track, you really need everything going for you to be able to get through these turns.
Riding with Eddie Abel-Nisa, the Melbourne Cheapest Cars Commodore, 40 laps here at race 1 at Adelaide International Raceway for the Strathfield National Cup. The Auto Pro scoreboard shows us Darren McDonald, Jason Wiley and Eddie Abel-Nisa currently leading the field, with Marshall Brewer pressing Abel-Nisa for third spot at the moment. McDonald and Wiley are going head-to-head in the points chase. We're going to find out more about that right after this break.
It's back on the track for 98. See last year's series winner Glenn Seaton up against the Kings of the Mountain, Perkins and Ingle. Round 1 from Sandown, the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, soon on 10.
Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway, where not only is the temperature soaring, but so is the action, with Darren McDonald and Jason Wiley currently leading the field in the Strathfield National Cup. McDonald there in the Power Mac Holden Commodore, keeping out his points rival, Jason Wiley and George Elliott. The chase is going right down to the end of the series.
Yes, it is, Gerald, and I guess that's pretty much what we expected right from the word go. These guys are very, very keen to race, and they're certainly not backing off here. The temperatures are incredibly hot. I'd hate to think what it's like in the car. I'd say it's about 40 degrees outside. Inside the car would have to be over 50 degrees.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good to be driving at the moment. Marshall Brewer looking to the inside line of the Cheapest Cars Commodore of Abel-Nisa. He gets by with the Sigwell car. 0-2 goes through to number 3.
And Gerald, picking up the action 2 laps later, Marshall Brewer is down in the pits. Heartbreaking, I'm sure. Nathan Prendergast looking over his shoulder.
Well, Marshall, things were looking fairly good for a while there, but unfortunately you're in. What's the situation?
There's obviously no water in the engine, which we didn't realise. So it's cooked the engine, or it's tight down the engine.
Well, there's going to be a whole lot of work left for Marshall Brewer to see if he can get back for race 2, George Elliott. See if he can change an engine in between races.
Well, they've got a little bit of time, but even so, Gerald, you know, that's a big call, mate, to change an engine in that shorter period.
11 laps down of 40 here at Adelaide International Raceway. Darren McDonald still leading from Jason Wiley and Eddie Abel-Nisa. Now, Abel-Nisa now starting to be pressured by Matthew White in the 28 Holden Freighter Trailers Commodore. There's Abel-Nisa on screen, a camera pointing at the face, and while the G-forces aren't into effect here like they are at the Thunderdome, George, still the concentration is there.
Yeah, you're right, Gerald. The G-forces aren't nearly as bad here, but the concentration level is, if anything, it could even be a little higher.
Your half-mile oval, it is flat. There is Matthew White still chasing. Jason Wiley now going down the inside of Darren McDonald. The Computerland Trust Bank car comes through, and Wiley goes through to take the lead from McDonald. McDonald perhaps saying, hey, we've still got a few laps to go. Why don't I just settle down and watch the action from here? 18 down out of 40, and Jason Wiley now in the lead.
And a nice clean pass by Jason. Another clean pass by Matthew White, we've just seen go under Eddie Abel-Nisa.
And he's now gone up in the third spot, looking out the back, a whole lot of sunshine there. Still hot. Jason Wiley on screen gets it loose coming out of 4. And we spoke to Matthew White earlier in the day and asked him about what he thought of Adelaide International Raceway.
Oh, it's a great track. Lots of fun. People down here are really good too, which makes a big difference. Really hard on tyres, so it's going to be a tyre game. Within 10 laps, your tyres seem to drop off about half a second or more. So it's all about tyres, who can make them last the longest, and then be in it for the second race.
Well, that's what it's all about, George. But, of course, both races have equal point up for grabs. They are 2 separate rounds as we ride with Wayne Smith.
Yeah, that makes the guys think pretty hard. You know, they've got to be fairly careful on here, because if they do make a mistake during the first race and they take themselves out, then all the other drivers have an opportunity to get so many more points in such a short space of time.
Yeah, that's what it is all about, as we see Jason Wiley come out onto the main straight again, cuts down the inside flames coming out of the Computerland car. He's starting to open up a little bit of a gap on our second place runner, Darren McDonald, and now on the bumper, looks to be Nicole Pretty, but of course both of the Pretties were involved in the earlier action.
Here we are, lap 34 of 40. Jason doing a fine job out in front, showing the guys the way around.
And this result can only help with Jason Wiley's chase for his first Strathfield National Cup Championship. There is Darren McDonald in the Power Mac, Christian Holden, Commodore, and McDonald gets a little bit loose there, but McDonald is currently right on the tail of Wiley in the series.
Yes, and he's certainly not going to let him out of his side here either. We're riding with Wayne Smith, looking into the glare. Look at the glare coming in the windscreen there.
Now, you've driven at Adelaide International Raceway, and of course on the AC Delco Cup cars, you're affected running up the back straight and turning into 3 and 4. But how disturbing or annoying is that sun glare?
It can be very disturbing. You know, when you're running this time of a day and you've got a little bit of oil, a little bit of dirt on the windscreen, the sun hits straight on glare and you're momentarily blinded completely. You really just need to have faith in the guys that you're running beside.
Well, Jason Wiley has faith. So too does Eddie Abel-Nisa as we ride aboard the Melbourne Cheapest Cars Commodore. The facial expressions. Here he goes on the brakes, gives a bit of a puff, bit of a smile, bit of a grin, bit of a grunt.
And he's almost talking himself through that turn, isn't he?
Well, a little bit of opposite lock there as well. Watch with the Commodore now on the brake, turns it in. There's still G-forces in the case, still being moved.
Yeah, you can see the concentration there. The level of concentration is immense trying to get through these turns because you're on such a fine line. You know, the track is really flat. It's very slippery. It's almost like driving on glass as you come through those turns.
The in-car cameras probably like those Polaroid photo shots that you never want to see ever again.
I imagine that's exactly what Eddie will be saying when he watches this.
Jason Wiley doing a great job with that Computerland Auto Pro Trust Bank Commodore. Around 3 and 4. Takes a nice line, very even right throughout that corner. And onto the main straight, the concrete walls right on the racetrack. Lap 39 of 40. And Wiley looking to take another race win this season at Adelaide International Raceway.
Jason, very, very smooth through these turns, and that's exactly what you need to be fast here in Adelaide.
Darren McDonald at the moment, he's maintaining the gap, and he's probably saying, hey, just stay where I am. Second is better than not finishing as the last lap white flag comes out, and McDonald and Wiley look to be certain 1-2 finishes.
Well, Darren would be happy with that. You know, he knows there's another race coming up. Why really run the risk of taking himself and maybe Jason out with him? So I imagine he'll be quite comfortable sitting where he is, and he'll wait for the next round.
Checkered flag at the ready for Jason Wiley and Darren McDonald. It comes out, it is waved, and Jason Wiley takes the win in the Trust Bank Computerland Auto Pro Commodore. A great result, Darren McDonald in second spot, and the championship chase for the Strathfield National Cup is going to go right down to the wire. These two are having a doozy of a battle. Let's go down now to Nathan Prendergast and a happy winner.
Well, winner of race 1 for the Strathfield National Cars. Jason, you seem pretty dominant, whether it's Calder or Adelaide.
Yeah, I guess we've got to pay credit to the car and the hard-working crew, Trust Bank, Computerland, our sponsors, which was fairly interesting there, the first start we had, so I was glad we didn't get any damage from that. And got in behind Darren and he left a little gap, and that was just enough for us to go through.
And of course, this win increases your lead in the championship. Things are looking good with only a few rounds remaining.
Yeah, well, I had that in mind. Like, we've got a little bit of a buffer on Darren, but it would be handy to extend it, so we'll see what happens in the next heat.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much.
Well, a happy winner there, Jason Wiley, takes out the win with the Trust Bank Computerland car. Darren McDonald in second, Matthew White in third, Nathan Pretty takes out fourth, a good result, and Eddie Abel-Nisa in fifth. We're going to a break, and we'll be back right after this. Well, welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway. The Holden Quality Parts HQs are on the track, and George Elliott, we always see a whole lot of mayhem at the Goodyear Thunderdome, but we've just compressed it into a half-mile oval, and I think we're in for an unbelievable race.
There will be absolutely no lack of action here right from the word go. They're coming around, they'll take the checkered flag. Wicks is about to lead them away and show them the way around.
Lap 1 of 20 here of action-packed laps, and talking of action, the 70's already gone around, and we're already under caution, and we haven't even got past the first corner.
Well, how long did we have to wait for the action?
Well, there's plenty of cars in there that have all crunched up, and, well, I tell you what, it looks as though there is some big problems there. The wall has moved a whole lot. Let's look at the Repco replay, and a bit of tapping going on. There goes McSavany. He goes round in that 17 car. And there's some others. They just go everywhere.
Well, Gerald, almost a replay of the national cars. You know, we saw them have their big accident right on the first turn of the first lap, and pretty much a replay here. Coming round for a restart now, and Mark Wicks leads them away.
He takes a green flag just ahead of John Spencer in the 24. Ray Bester's car. Right on his tail is his teammate, Robert Wright, but on the outside and taking the very hard line is the local boy from Adelaide, John Harding, in the Rose and Crown Hotel holder.
John Harding, a brave man on the outside line here at Adelaide International.
He's doing pretty good, though. He's got past John Spencer into second spot. Well, Spencer comes back at him, but Harding not giving. There's a little bit of smoking back in the pack, and Mark Wicks still leading in that 15 car. John Spencer and John Harding now, and coming up through the field as well is Scott Walker in the number 11 car.
And Gerald, a little bit of braking to be done here at Adelaide. Unlike the Thunderdome, where these guys run through the turns just wide open, foot flat to the floor, they really need to get out of the gas. Bit of a dab on the brakes to slow the car down and set it up for the turn. So it'll be interesting to see just how long the brakes last.
Well, the number 30 car goes around. We're under caution yet again here for the HQ Holden Quality Parts Cup race number 1. The 30 car there is Douglas Lever.
And Mark Wicks leads them away again, about to show the boys the way around.
Well, the HQ Holden's always put on a great show, and Adelaide International Raceway is no different. Mark Wicks leading from John Spencer and John Harding. Well, Scotty Walker's also coming up there. Look, they're diving for positions here as well.
Jockeying for positions there, almost making another turn out of the back straightaway.
And Scotty Walker has got past John Harding and pushed him back one spot. Let's pick up the action now. There is Spencer on the inside in the 24 Ray Bester's car. The car's still circulating. Harding now out in front there of Spencer. So Spencer gone back to 4th spot, but Mark Wicks well out in front of the field, which is very surprising.
Well, surprising. I mean, Mark Wicks has put a lot of work into getting his car to go around here. Not a lot of test time. The guys were out on the racetrack yesterday and put plenty of effort into it. But Mark Wicks is the man who seems to have got it all together.
Well, every bit as much effort goes into setting the HQs up here for Adelaide International Raceway as what it does for the AC Delco Cup cars and the Stratfield National cars. White flag has been waved, and we are on our last lap. Mark Wicks currently leading Scott Walker, and John Harding and John Spencer having a great battle for 3rd spot there on screen. Spencer trying to find a way past. I don't know if he'll be able to, and Mark Wicks leads off into turn number 3 in the 15 Dyno Power car. He comes around into turn 4 nice and easy, and will take it onto the main straight and accept the checkered flag, and a race 1 win in the Holden Quality Parts Cup for Mark Wicks.
Well, Mark, congratulations. We don't see that too often in HQ racing, a dominating win.
Yeah, no, the car was really good. had a little bit of a push sort of from the middle of the race, but it was comfortable enough to be able to get away on the restart again. So the car went really well.
You've had a fair bit of success at Calder. Do you like the racing here in Adelaide on the tighter circuit?
Yeah, I reckon it's great. You can use the brakes here at the Thunderdome because you're flat nearly all the way. You can't make up ground under brakes, and here you can, so I reckon it's pretty good. But while I've got the opportunity, I have to thank Butch Jones Racing and Peter Way and Dyno Power and Tailshaft Balancing, because they're our sponsors, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.
Well done, Mark Wicks. Another great win. Scott Walker finished in second spot. John Harding in third. John Spencer in fourth. And Robert Wright in fifth spot. So another good result for the Dart Racing team. Let's have a look at a Conoco spectacular moment from the Goodyear Thunderdome. And what a spectacular moment this one was. It involved Graham O'Brien and Sam Milton, and they were in all sorts of problems at the Thunderdome in December. There was Graham O'Brien there in the Dennis Panels car. He had problems and he spun, hit Sam Milton, and Milton had nowhere to go but Simcoe. And that Chris Milton Engine Developments Falcon, the side field off, it wasn't really a problem. Let's have a look at another Repco replay. Here comes Slammin' Sammy, and we're slamming to a break. Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway. We're getting ready for the Conica Sportsman's. But what about this? Our championship leader and pole sitter, Converica, stuck it in qualifying.
The first lap I didn't think was good enough, to be quite honest. Went in a bit deeper on the second lap. Got loose, thought I had it, but just put me in. I thought it was rough, but anyway.
Well, a very dejected Converica. He took pole anyway. Ron Savas alongside him on row 1. Chris Robinson and Graham Gilliland make up row 2.
Row 3 saw Tony Howland and Trevor Nucky, Andrew Gillespie and Mark Sutherland behind them.
And the Conica Sportsman's getting ready as we go through the field there. Graham Crawford way back in 13th spot. Ron Savas will lead the field off. The green flag is at the ready. And here we go for race 1, round number 4 at Adelaide International Raceway. And Savas, a good, clean start. The first time tonight we've had one.
Well, the sportsman drivers may have learned a little from the HQs and the national cars.
And Savas out in front, a rookie this year in the Goodyear Super Speedway Series for the Conica Sportsman's. A couple of cars starting to get a bit loose in the tail there. There's Leanne Ross, who had a good third result last time out.
Yeah, Leanne's having a very good season, actually, and should be very keen to put on a good show here tonight.
Chris Robinson there, the Goodyear belting car, just gets under Graham Gilliland, or I should say around the outside. We have a spinner on the front straight. That's Mark Sutherland, and a little bit of debris flying there, the Commodore VL.
And we have a restart, and Ron Savas about to show them the way around.
Yes, Savas doing a good job in his rookie year. Chris Robinson in the Goodyear belting car, right on his tail, trying to go around the outside. Graham Gilliland is also there, coming up in third spot on the Auto Pro scoreboard.
Guys settling down to a nice clean race here. You know, I saw those cars taking that wide exit out of that turn there. Dangerous spot to get up there into that loose, into the loose rubber, but they're certainly doing a good job.
Graham O'Brien in third spot there on screen. He is back at the field, unfortunately, due to that earlier incident. But Ron Savas still leading them out of turn number 2 and up the back straight, and doing a very good job with that Falcon. And the Falcons are very dominant in the Conica Sportsman category this year.
Well, they are. I think they seem to have the horsepower, and they seem to also be getting the handling package together as well.
Very important, and with the switch from the Goodyear Thunderdome to Adelaide International Raceway, well, we've got trouble on the racetrack, a caution. Let's go back to racing now on the restart. Round 4, race 1 for the Conica Sportsman's here at Adelaide International Raceway, and the green flag is waving with Ron Savas currently leading from Chris Robinson.
A lot of drama here this afternoon with that turn 1. Turn 1 actually almost banks off the opposite direction, whilst the rest of the turns are fairly flat. Turn 1 for the national cars and for the sportsmen almost banks off the opposite way.
Well, Chris Robinson has gone through on Ron Savas. Graham Gilliland now challenging as well. And will he be able to get past? He's going to try the inside line. Savas holds his line, though. keeps the Falcon firmly planted in second spot, and Robinson in the Goodyear belting car now heading up the back straight and in the lead in car 54. Car 54, Adam 54.
There you go, car 54. Where are you?
Where are you, car 54?
They all know he's out in front, showing them the way around.
Last lap, white flag waving for the Conacher Sportsman. And Chris Robinson in car 54. Where are you? Well out in front. He is going to take a win, I believe, unless he has problems. Keeps it nice and smooth, covering the line. Savas looking for a way around. Can't quite find it. As they come out of turn 4, Robinson starting to drift. Savas coming in nice and tight. He won't be able to get there. And Chris Robinson takes the win. The Goodyear belting 54 car ahead of Ron Savas and the G&G Engineering Commodore of Graham Gilliland in an action-packed race. And what a great race it was. Robinson very happy. Let's go down to Nathan Prendergast with him now.
Well, a fresh face for 1997 on the podium. Congratulations, Chris Robinson. That was pretty tough, but you managed to climb through in the end.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. The crew's done a wonderful job all weekend. Got the car handling well, wrapped.
You weren't in a bad position at Calder, but you threw it away. Not going to do it this time.
No, I learnt my lesson. Bit hot-headed last time. Ain't going to happen again, I hope.
Well, a lesson well learnt because he's taken out the win, Chris Robinson. Rod Savas in second spot. Graham Gilliland in third. Leanne Ross in fourth. Another good result for Leanne. And Tony Howlett in fifth spot. George Elliott, the AC Delco Cup cars are coming out shortly. And we're in for a great night of racing.
Should be a very hot night of racing. A handful of a car here on Adelaide International.
Let's go down to Nathan Prendergast. He caught up with Rocket Rodney Jane.
Rodney Jane, first time here in the Delco cars at Adelaide, and you're very quick. How are you finding it?
It's not too bad. We took a little bit getting into it yesterday, but I always ran here well in the Oscars, and we ran well last year in the Legends, so just sort of took it easy for the first couple of sessions yesterday, and it's not going too badly today. Just put a bit more effort into it, and we're getting some good times.
What's the different approach you have to take here on the shorter circuit?
Well, it's, I guess in some senses it's like it is a lot slower, so it's just a matter of getting in. I go in fairly deeply and just getting the lines right coming out of the corner and getting on the throttle as early as you can. You know, really the same sort of principles as you use at Calder, but just at a sort of slower speed, and you can do things a little bit differently. There's a little bit more leeway, I find, for problems, you know.
For you, what's the appeal to super speedway racing?
Just sort of constant action. You're pretty busy all the time. There's, you know, a lot of close racing, and I find it quite fun.
Jimmy Ellis, it's been a pretty exciting season for you so far, but you're fairly quick here at Adelaide. How are you finding it?
Very good, very good. It's the track is good. It's a new experience for myself. Really enjoying it. The car's working very well. Very happy.
Now, you've come from a pretty exciting motorcycle background. What's the appeal to super speedway racing for you?
I suppose the speed, the horsepower, the good people around you, having good teamwork. There's an awful lot to learn. There's just a number of things that make you want to go faster each time.
Well, we're going to go fast to a break, then we're coming back with the AC Delco Cup cars. We're back at Adelaide International Raceway for the AC Delco Cup, round number 4, race number 1, and Terry Wyhoon leads them out in the VP Car Care car. He has taken out his first ever pole position, just ahead of Jimmy Richards. Kim Jane and Rodney Jane are off row number 2.
Row number 3, we've got Max Dumsney and Neville Lance. Great combination. Row 4, Greg Murphy and John Maltseed.
And going down to row number 5, we have got Jimmy Ellis and Bob Middleton, and Ian Thomas and Paul Stocker make up row number 6. Stocker, in fact, not qualifying, preferring to save the car. The pace car is off now, and we're about to get racing underway. Green flag at the ready.
Well, these cup cars really a handful here on the Adelaide International Racetrack. Short circuit, not as much room as the Thunderdome. Not quite as fast either, but still takes an enormous amount of concentration to get through these turns.
Didn't take Kim Jane long to get under Jimmy Richards there and move up in the second spot. But what about Terry Wyhoon, George? The VP Car Care team have come away already with their first pole position with this Tommy Smith-built Thunderbird. A great result.
Beautifully prepared car, great result. A little bit loose as he came out of that turn there. He almost creased the wall, just missed it, but he's certainly got that thing firing.
The interesting point is that while everyone was out practicing today, prior to qualifying, Terry Wyhoon and the BP Car Care team were taking care of themselves. They were at the hotel in the pool.
Well, Gerald, you know, sometimes you've got to wonder when you're racing late in the afternoon and then later on in the night, as these cars will be, you know, the heat of the day, temperatures in excess of 40 degrees, sometimes you don't really achieve anything. You go out there and you set the car up for those conditions. When you come back to race later on in the afternoon, everything's changed. So you haven't really achieved anything other than wearing out the car and yourself and your crew in that heat.
Well, it was a good result for qualifying in Terry Wyhoon, number 1. The 25 BP Car Care car is out in front of Kim James. And a bit of a push that time, George, and all of a sudden he lost a whole lot of space.
That car definitely getting a push. I'm a little concerned that maybe he could be losing a bit of pressure in the front right-hand tyre. Car's running very wide through the turn there. You can see it going definitely a handful for Terry, and Kimbo is really taking advantage of it.
Now, you've spoken about maybe losing pressure in that. Look at the push there already, and that's what it might be. I think he might have a tyre going down. He comes wide out of turn number 4.
Well, he's fighting it. He's certainly not going to give it away easily, you know, and the car, I mean, for a car to get tight as quickly as this one has to be a fairly dramatic sort of a change. I don't think it's a suspension problem because he's still able to drive the car reasonably straight down the straightaways. But as he gets into the turns, he's setting it up and he's having to get out of the gas a little early to try and set up. Look how wide he's running. Oh, and he's hit the wall.
Well, that was a big push that time for the BP Car Care team, and Terry Wyhoon is in all sorts of problems. What a shame. He was doing so well after qualifying on pole, and now he's going to have to make his way around to the pit area and see what he can do.
Yeah, that's tough, Gerald, you know, but it just goes to show that these cars, if they develop a problem like that, they're really not going to fix themselves. You really need to come in and do something about it. But however, that's easy to say when you're sitting in a nice cool commentary box. These guys are out there in 55 to 60 degree heat conditions inside those cars.
Very tough on the drivers. Kim Jane out in front of Jimmy Richards in the Pyroil number 1. No Fear car, and Max Dumsney currently in 3rd spot. We've said it before. There's Terry Wyhoon limping into the pit area. Obviously the front wheel's going to have to get changed. The panels on the side of the car look very second-hand, but the BP Car Care team over the wall, and they're about to go to work.
You know, one thing in his favour here as we watch him in the pits there is that the aerodynamics won't play such a great part here, not like the Thunderdome. If they can fix the suspension, they'll be fast.
Well, let's go down to Nathan Prendergast in pit lane with Sue Wyhoon and see if they can do the job and get Terry back out there.
Sue Wyhoon, Terry had a little bit of a touch with the wall. How's the car now performing?
The car had a massive push in it. He was desperate to stay in front of him, but just really couldn't do it. Looks like we've got a bent steering arm, but hopefully we can get that fixed before the next one. We're just trying to stay at there for some points.
Well, that's what it is all about in the end. It is points, and the guy who is just doing an incredible job in the points, although currently lies in 2nd spot, is Kim Jane. Jimmy Richards, after his win at the last round, is in the lead.
And this is certainly a racetrack for Jimmy Richards to dominate on. I mean, the man is just so good on flat tracks. He'll take some beating here tonight.
We should mention that Jim Richards is not in the normal Pyroil Pontiac that we normally see him in. He is in a Chevy Monte Carlo, just like Kim Jane, Bob Jane T-Mart car. Jim Richards and the Pyroil team are on the roof of the car right now, passing John Maltz. They have gone and bought this car from Brad Jones, and this is a pure flat track car.
And that's the reason we're seeing Jimmy in it now. He's bought this car just to be dominant on the flat tracks.
Just saw on screen there Rodney Jane and also Max Dumsney. Dumsney currently in 3rd spot. Jane trying to push his way past the number 3 Oscar Alloy Wheels car, trying to go around the outside of the Valvoline Killer Loop sunglasses Chev Monte Carlo. And Maxie would be having those Killer Loops on at the moment with the sun glare, especially now as they go down the back straight.
And Rodney Jones got that car together tonight. You know, the car prepared by John Sidney, and this racetrack seems to be, well, it seems to be suiting Rodney a little more than the Thunderdome.
seems to be coming their way. Dumsney now, we're on board the Valvoline Killer Loop sunglasses car. There's Maxie there. Geez, he looks good with those killer loops.
It's definitely the big fly look, isn't it?
Well, that's the good old boy NASCAR. Rodney's got it all out of shape coming out of turn number 2. Kim Jane now up the front straight, I should say. And that glare is really, really tough on the drivers as they come out of turn number 2 and down the back straight.
Yeah, it is. They're not only having the glare from the windscreens to contend with, but it's also coming up off the racetrack. You can almost see the heat shimmering up into the cars.
And we should also say with the sun starting to go down as well, George, and perhaps even though it has been 42, it's not a whole lot cooler, but it is starting to get cooler. The setups on the cars start to change, and all of a sudden your tyres and everything start to work a whole lot differently.
Yeah, it does. You know, in fact, Gerald, it only takes a cloud to go across in front of the sun to change the conditions of the racetrack, and plays a big part on how the car handles.
Well, Kim Jane currently leads the field here at Adelaide International Raceway. We're going to a break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway. Kim Jane just passing under Jimmy Ellis in the GB galvanising car there, lap 37 of 50. And Kim Jane in that Bob Jane teammate car currently leading the field. George Elliott doing a sterling job.
Certainly is. Both Kim Jane's car and Rodney Jane's car very quick here on Adelaide, and both set up by John Sidney.
Jimmy Ellis doing well there, currently in 5th spot. He might be a lap down, but that's okay. Looking out the back of the Bob Jane T-Mart Repco Goodyear. Chevy Monte Carlo of Kim Jane. That sun's starting to go down and starting to become a little bit less of a problem, although it is hampering a bit up the back straight.
Yeah, it's still a problem until it actually goes right down now. You know, once you get to that stage, or this time in the afternoon, till the sun disappears, it's a major problem.
Jane looking really good in that Chev Monte Carlo, just taking the lines nice and easy, making sure everything's on track. Takes it out close to the wall across the start-finish line and dives back in. Lap 40, 10 laps to go here at AIR for race number 1 of round 4. Here comes Jim Richards on the inside of Jimmy Ellis. And now aboard with Max Dumsney in the Valvoline Killer Loop Bright Eye Sunglass Store Chev Monte Carlo, trying to get past John Moltec. Greg Murphy, great to have him back in the Clarion Champion Gold Chev Monte Carlo, right on the tail. Oh, when he's waving, he's telling, get out of the way. Murphy's trying to get past Neville Lance, or he is signalling to someone. He's got a problem.
Look how bad that sun is across the windscreen. Can't see a thing there. Totally blind for a while. Actually, he was waving Kim Jane around. He watched Kim come up in the mirror there, knew he was about there, and didn't want to hold him up, waved him around, gave him room, and Neville Lance is about to do the same thing.
Well, that's a sign of a great professional driver, Greg Murphy. Not only is he running in his own race, but trying to be very cautious of the people that are running faster than him.
Yeah, well, there's just no point. You know, when the faster cars are coming around to lap here, then there really isn't any point in trying to race with them. You know you're not going to stay with them. Best thing you can do is just pull down, let them go by, and then get back down to racing whoever it is that's on your speed.
Well, Jane just controlling this race at the moment. Well out of second place runner Jim Richards. There's Neville Lance in the King Coil. Well, he'd like a King Coil tonight, I'm sure, because it's been a tough day. It is so hot here at Adelaide International.
Rodney Jane, we just saw slip up the inside there, a little bit sideways coming off the turn, certainly sliding around, but definitely fast. Looking at Max Dumsney now in his car. Look at him working at the wheel there, sawing on it, working it backwards and forwards. Just indicates just how slippery it is out there, and there's Rodney out in front.
Well, he'll want to take that 3rd spot back. He's got Bob Middleton there just on the inside, the white line transport car. But Dumsney goes through, just feeds that power on, feeding the power on too, George. In conditions like these with a track fairly slick due to the temperature, that's what you've got to be very careful about.
You do. You need to be very, very careful not to break traction on the back wheels. You break traction and straight away you spin out. It's almost a little bit of a power slide out of all of these turns.
There's Max Dumsney. We're right in with him on the AC Delco in-car camera. And Max has had a busy schedule. He's been running around Australia not only in the AC Delco Cup cars, but also in his sprint car. He's doing a whole lot of racing at the moment.
Yeah, Max a busy boy. And a busy boy here tonight, watching him sawing on that wheel as you were speaking there, Gerald. Interesting to see the wheel actually being turned to the right. That's not a good indication in a NASCAR.
It will be interesting to see his tyre wear after this race. We're on board with Jim Richards in the Pie Royal, No Fear Wattle Spartan, Chev Monte Carlo. Let's not say Pontiac, it is the Chevy. And Jim Richards looking out in the back, down the back, the main straight. Big crowd building up at Adelaide International Raceway. Off in the distance there, we've got a couple of the back markers. We also have Rodney Jane and also Max Dumpsney starting to come through.
Jim having a little bit of trouble getting through the turns. I'd say he's got a little bit of a tyre wear problem because you can see him get out of the gas. The gap actually closes up through the turn. Then as he comes off the turn, he's able to pick it up and widen the gap again, as we're seeing now. But you'll see here, as he gets into the turn, he gets off the gas. Rodney actually having to force his way through there. It's a very difficult racetrack to pass on. And Rodney's taking no prisoners. His car's on a charge.
He has absolutely just forced his way past, and I suppose that's a great way of picking up positions. There, Kim Jane well out in front. There goes Lance and Murphy, but Jane's still in control. And now Jimmy Richards has the number 3 Oscar alloy wheel Chev on his tail of Rocket Rodney.
Yeah, he's under pressure. Rodney a little sideways there coming out of the turn, certainly getting everything he possibly can out of that car. Kim Jane around the outside there.
At 49 of 50, just 1.5 laps virtually to go. Jane has just gone past Ian Thomas, also experiencing a push here in that first race with the Valvoline number 2 car. And Rodney Jane sideways out of turn number 2.
Fairly controlled slide, did a good job actually to recover that car.
Last lap is out. White flag is waving. Kim Jane well out in front. Coming up on the tail of Terry Wyhoon in the BP Car Care car. But here comes Rocket Rodney. Can he get second spot?
Well, we haven't got long to wait to find out. You know, Rodney's running out of patience there. He's seen throwing that car almost sideways coming out of the turn.
And checkered flag has waved for Kim Jane. He takes the win. And here's Rodney Jane now trying on Jimmy Richards.
How much paces has he got? He's hit Richo. He's around.
He's gone on the grass, knocked Richo around.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Kim Jane takes a great win. Let's go down to the happy winner with Nathan Prendergast.
Well, Kim, well done, back in form. Problems for you last round. It looks like the car's back together and you're hot.
Oh, I'm very hot. Like, you know, we had to make up for last round. Even though we're allowed to take out our best round of the season, that was our worst round so far and in a long time. So we really had to make up for it today. And I think we did it by just about killing everybody, or demoralising the field. But the car's great. There's some few changes we can make, I think, to make it even better. So I'm just looking forward to the next one.
What about yourself? You like driving on the tighter Adelaide format?
Oh, mate, I like racing anywhere. I'm just a driver. You know, I race Thunderdome, I'll race Adelaide, I'll race anywhere. I just love oval track racing. It's a great challenge, and you know, it's just good to come up for a win for the sponsors again at the Bob Jane Team Arts, Repco and Goodyear.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Well, Dick Midgley, that was looking pretty good for you there for a while, but unfortunately not the way you'd like it.
Well, what happened, Jim lost his brakes early in about halfway through the race, I guess, and young Rodney, I mean, he's coming on strong. He's young, he's ambitious, and inexperienced, let's put it that way.
Did you have any word from Jim inside the car? Did you get any of his thoughts possibly over the radio?
Oh, we couldn't repeat what he said.
Well, a very diplomatic Dick Midgley there. Kim Jane, a happy winner. Rod Jane takes out second. Max Dumps in third. Jimmy Richards plays fourth. And Neville Lance fifth. And George Elliott. A great race in the end. And diplomatic.
Diplomatic and controversial, I would say.
Well, thanks for your company here at Adelaide International Raceway. Check your local guides for round number 4, race 2. Thanks to George Elliott, Nathan Prendergast. We'll see you back soon. Race a whole lot different to the Goodyear Thunderdome. It's a half-mile oval and it's a flat track, and George Elliott that should make for some very exciting racing in every category.
Absolutely. We're in for one hot night of motor racing here in Adelaide, Gerald. You know, every one of these guys are going to want to lead this race, and there's not a real lot of room to do it. They don't have the room that they have at the Thunderdome, so it's going to make it very, very tight, very fast racing, and it's certainly going to be exciting.
Now, of course, with the flat track, the half mile, it's less than half the size of the Goodyear Thunderdome. 24-degree bank turns are virtually flat to nothing. It makes the whole car setup completely different, and that's something which is going to affect a whole lot of teams.
Yes, it will. You know, the guys that have put a lot of work into being fast on the Thunderdome with the high banking in the turns have got to throw all of that out the window now. The track here, all of the turns, in fact, 3 of the turns are flat, but the 4th track and turn number 4 for the AC Delco Cup cars is almost banked the opposite direction, and it certainly creates a handful for the drivers.
Well, it should make for some very exciting racing, so sit down, strap yourselves in, hang on, we're on for a fast ride here at Adelaide International Raceway. Well, the conditions are a little bit cooler than this afternoon's racing, and earlier today, though, in the heat of the day, young Nathan Prendergast caught up with Eddie Abel-Nisa, asked him what he thought about the hot Adelaide International Raceway.
Look, I love this place. The last couple of seasons we've been here, we just haven't probably done as good as what we should have. I mean, we've come over here on Thursday. We've actually put the car into the wall within about 15 laps here. So we've really worked our butt off just to get back out here and to qualify.
Well, a great achievement for Eddie Abel-Nisa to get back out onto the track. And the Melbourne Cheapest Cars team is ready to go in this race 2 of round number 4. Darren McDonald, Jason Wiley off the front row, Eddie Abel-Nisa and Marshall Brewer right behind them.
Row 3, Matthew White, and alongside of Matthew, Nathan Preddy. Row 4, Richard Howe and Wayne Smith.
Row 5 has Darryl Spears and Tim Dombrain. Row 6, Nicole Preddy and Armand Charter. And we're ready to go. And the green flag is waving here at Adelaide International Raceway. The Strathfield National cars for the National Cup of 1997-98. And green flag waving, lap 1 of 40 round the half-mile oval at Adelaide International.
And Darren McDonald leads them through the first turn. Let's see if we can make the other 3 without a replay of the first race.
Well, we saw on earlier programs of race number 1 here at round 4, the Strathfield National Cup cars all ended in the wall, about 10 of the field into the wall. Darren McDonald, the car 44, already having a little bit of a push and going out wide on turn number 3 and 4.
Yeah, the car seems to run high on this racetrack. I don't really know why. I think he'd like to get it lower, but probably fighting a bit of a push in the car.
We should mention, George, that race 1, the conditions here at Adelaide International Raceway were running 42-degree temperatures. The cool air now starting to come around, and it's going to change the complete setup.
Yeah, it will. It'll actually make the cars faster, though. I think the conditions of the racetrack itself are much more suited now to the tyre compounds that the guys are running.
Darren McDonald currently leading in the 44 Power Mac car. Jason Wiley right on his tail. And Marshall Brewer, who has done an engine change between race 1 and race 2, is in 3rd spot, and a great achievement to get another engine into the car.
Big ask from his crew in that heat too, in the afternoon heat, to change an engine like that. But they've certainly got the handling together, and the motor that he's put in there is doing a fine job.
It certainly is. Eddie Abel-Nisa's hanging back there in 4th spot as well, hoping for a good result. Nathan Prendergast is down in Primus pit lane with his crew.
Shane, Eddie's car had more hits than the Beatles in the first race. How's it going now in race 2?
Well, the ICI Auto Colour Melbourne Street Commodore is actually doing not too bad considering what's happened. We're just going to see what happens at the end of the race.
How was the car underneath all the damage? Like fine, it's still handling okay for him?
Not everything's A-OK, but we're still all right.
Well, all right is all you need to be. And at lap 12 of 40 here in race 2, round number 4, Darren McDonald still leading the field, just going past one of the Preddy cars in the DeWalt Racing team. That was Nicole Preddy. The 2 Nathans caught up earlier today, Preddy and Prendergast. We asked a good-looking one what he thought about Adelaide.
Yeah, I love it normally. I mean, we're normally pretty fast over here, but at the moment we're just having a few problems. But I think the car's set up for the race, so we're quite happy with the setup to do the 40 laps. Maybe not so good to do 2, so we're quite confident.
Well, there you go. All of the drivers, they love to come to Adelaide. The hot racetrack, the hot weather, great crowd and an electric atmosphere.
It is electric, and Nathan currently challenging Eddie Abel-Nisa there for 4th spot. Darren McDonald in that Christian Holden. Hal Mac Commodore currently leading ahead of Jason Wiley and Marshall Brewer in 3rd in that fast track racing team. Here comes Pretty down the inside of Eddie Abel-Nisa. He's going to push him out a little bit, hold him out wide. He does. The DeWalt tool car probably uses the biggest Jimmy bar that they had and just squeezes on through. Here comes Matthew White as well.
And some nice clean passing. A little unusual here tonight.
It certainly is. Nathan Prendergast is down, getting supercharged in the supercharged batteries pit area.
Wayne did some rubbing in the first race, but here in race 2, he's looking to be going very well. This is probably one of the better showings that you've had for a while.
Yeah, exactly. We had a fair bit of trouble in race 1, but we got the car back pretty good. We think it's going to be as good as what it was in qualifying. So we seem to be running down this lead pack pretty good now, and he's driving the car very good. So it's just hopefully we have a good result for supercharged batteries.
Where'd the extra performance come from?
Well, I don't really think we found anything extra. We're just sort of maybe really having a go now. We've saved the car to qualifying and just had a sensible weekend.
It's bent now, it's worn in, so have some fun.
Exactly. I told him to go for it. We've got some work to do next week, so I don't mind doing a little bit extra.
Well, there you go. That's the old story. Go out, slap the wall, and then you can go racing.
Well, it's not what the pedal beaters all want to hear, but the supercharged batteries team is doing a great job and currently right on the tail of the freighter Commodore of Matthew White. Darren McDonald, though, leading the field in the Power Mac Holden Commodore, just ahead of Jason Wiley. There is Darren McDonald. Big puff of flame coming out the exhaust pipe there. Not a problem. Got great support of Christian Holden, and Darren McDonald heads down the straight in front of the big crowd. We're getting ready to go to a break here at Adelaide International Raceway. Make sure you stick around because we've got more Strathfield National Cup and AC Delco Cup cars coming after this. Welcome back to the place of pace, Adelaide International Raceway, lap 24 of 40 for the Strathfield National Cup, and we have got a great battle going on. Jason Wiley and Darren McDonald not only battling for the lead here, George Elliott, but also the championship.
Yeah, we're getting to that end of the season where, you know, championship points really play a big part. The guys need to look after them, and Darren McDonald, we just saw slide out a little bit wide there. He didn't really fight Jason for that position. And I would say one of the reasons for that is that he's looking after his championship points.
Well, the flag's going there. Jason Wiley has been black flagged. Just getting the word from race control that he has been black flagged for crossing the white inner line.
Yes, Gerald, that white line that we talked about is the line where the drivers need to stay underneath to come out of the pit area. And the concern is that while the cars are racing, if they cross over that line, they actually go into the slow lane of the pit exit and could cause a major accident with another car coming out of the pit.
Yeah, tough job for Jason Wiley. He's going to come in on the tight Adelaide International Raceway circuit, just a half-mile oval, George, where the laps are very quick indeed, and he's under green. Any chance of a race win, unless there's a major caution, I think, just gone out the window.
Well, it'd be a pretty tough ask. I mean, you're right. You know, the laps go past very, very quickly, and the biggest problem that Jason's got is not the actual stopping time, but it's the slow speed that he has to come down pit lane. If he exceeds the speed limit in pit lane, he'll be black flagged and brought in again.
We've now got a new race leader as well, Marshall Brewer in the fast track racing. Sigwell Ford Falcon, the 02 car, is in the lead. And what a great job for the fast track racing team to change engines between race 1 and race 2 and now take the lead. Great job.
Also sporting a large band-aid on the front right-hand corner of that car from an earlier incident. Well, certainly hasn't hurt the aerodynamics.
The white tape covers up the yellow paint where he gave Eddie Abel-Nisa a fabulous serve in the first corner of race 1.
I was being kind, mate. I wasn't going to bring that up. I was just saying an earlier incident.
Marshall will say it. We all know what happened. The field stopped very quickly into that turn, and unfortunately he had nowhere else to go.
Well, Darren McDonald doing a nice conservative job following Marshall around there. He doesn't want to do anything too spectacular. I'm sure he'd like to take the lead back, but with the point situation that he has at the moment, he's certainly not going to take any chances.
No, it's all about now points and championships. He wants to at least get the same points as Jason Wiley. So when we go to the Goodyear Thunderdome for round 5, They're going to attack it head-to-head again. Let's go back in the pack. Nicole Preddy's starting to get passed by a few other cars. That's Eddie Abel-Nisa coming through in the number 4 car. There goes Armin Charter. But our leader, still Marshall Brewer, with Darren McDonald in second spot. And we've got some action. Wayne Smith, supercharged batteries.
Wayne not having a great night tonight, is he?
Well, Nathan said the car was bent earlier down in Primus Pit Lane. If it ain't bent before, it certainly is bent now.
There's a difference between bending it and wadding it up in a ball.
No doubt the team will have a lot of work to do between now and the next race, but the Strathfield National cars are under caution here at Adelaide International Raceway.
Wayne Smith finding his way around into the pit lane, or looking for pit lane. He's going to need to get that rear bumper torn off. The car still seems to go around. How fast it goes around remains to be seen.
The supercharged team getting ready to come over the pit wall, and he's actually gone past his...
Yeah, that's a worry. He's been waved around. This will cost him dearly.
The pits might have been closed that time by George.
Actually just got word through pits were closed. He was waved through, and that will really cost him a lot of time.
On a restart now, lap 38 of 40, just a few laps remaining. Green flag waved. Eddie Abel-Nisa goes around the outside of Nathan Preddy. The DeWalt Tools car trying to hold position, but can the Melbourne's cheapest Commodore come through? He goes out wide. There's angling going on the back straight. And he goes for a wild slide on the grass here on the infield.
Throws plenty of dust up. Didn't interfere with any of the other cars though, so if he can get it started, possibly get back out there again without bringing out a yellow.
Well, Eddie Abel-Nisa's been in the wars tonight, and the Melbourne cheapest cars, number 4 Commodore, won't have a chance of winning. There is our leader, Marshall Brewer. There's Darren McDonald. Will he try and take the lead back from Brewer? We're not quite sure on the Auto Pro scoreboard, but it is Brewer coming across the line. Last lap, white flag waving, and if he takes the win, you've got to say to the fast track team, fantastic job, because they changed engines between rounds.
Fantastic job to the fast track team. Darren McDonald sideways, but look who's running in third. Jason Wiley, fantastic job to come from the rear of field to get up into third.
Yeah, after the black flag, but Marshall Brewer, Sig welds the pedal to the metal, takes the win, coming out of 4. A great job to the team from Fast Track and Sigwell and Goodyear. There he is, Marshall Brewer on screen. And our runner-up in the second race, Darren McDonald in the Power Mac, Christian Holden Commodore, and Jason Wiley, a fantastic job for third. Let's go down with a very happy winner.
Well, Marshall, absolutely sensational effort, mate. That was a big crash just to even make it to the racetrack, let alone win. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a terrific feeling. It was certainly a bad start to it, though. We knew the car was a good thing during the period of a race. But to cook the engine and absolutely destroy it, that was the brand new engine's really going to hurt. But it was great to come back, to give the boys an even run. We did that. Many thanks to our sponsors, Sigweld, Ian Tate Race Motors, Pennzoil, Crankshaft Rebuilders, and all the guys, all the team today who I always forget to thank, who've done a terrific job all weekend. So thanks very much.
Top effort both on and off the track, mate. Well-deserved win.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Marshall Brewer. Very happy winner. Darren McDonald came across in second. Jason Wiley in third. Nathan Preddy in fourth spot. And Matthew White rounded out the top 5. The scoreboard for the championship, Jason Wiley, McDonald, Abel-Nisa, Preddy, and Matthew White. Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway. I'm Gerald McDornan. With me is George Elliott. The Holden Quality Parts HQ Cup. We've just seen the Strathfield National cars. Let's have a little bit look back earlier in the day, George, and see some of this great Holden Quality Parts action.
Well, as always, they will never cease to amaze me in these cars. Just pour it on thick and fast, right from the word go. Plenty of action, and here they go again.
Let's see if we can get around turn number 1 without having the race stop. 25 laps, cars are already banging
on each other.
Rubbing's racing, as they say, and Mark Wicks, the winner of race 1 here at Adelaide International Raceway, leads the field off again, and there's the local boy, the 70 car of John Harding.
I just love the way they swarm through there 5 abreast, and then they all manage to get down into 2 abreast halfway through the turn.
Well, these guys are daredevils to the extreme. Wicks has Harding pressing him. Scott Walker's not too far behind. John Spencer is in there as well. John Agosta and Robert Wright. A whole lot more, but Wicks in the Butch Jones Racing Dyno Power car doing a great job out in front.
Absolutely. Mark Wicks definitely the man of the moment. He's certainly conquered this racetrack, hasn't he?
Good to see John Agosta coming back. There's Johnny Spencer. Oh, Agosta gets way out of
sideways.
Shape. Hasn't had the best of weekends. He didn't figure in the results in race 1, but on the Thunderdome, he's had a number of wins this season.
Yeah, certainly gets the thing going around the Thunderdome, but hasn't suited the Adelaide flat track quite as well.
Not at all. Scott Walker currently in 3rd spot. Robert Wright in there as well for the Dart Racing team of David Amor. And they've got great support of Ray Festus. There's the 25 car. That is right. The 24 car is John Spencer, his teammate. Harding goes way out, then cuts back in. That's a different line.
Well, he's gone for a big, hard charge there. He's changed the line altogether. Almost diamond the turn. Threw it out wide, cut it back in again, and then couldn't quite hold it down long enough to be able to get a run off the turn.
Not quite the same with coming up the back straight. There's a few cars trying different lines. Ducking in right down low, but Wick still leading. Cobson down. Well, might have just got a little bit out of shape there. Harding pushes right out wide, and Scott Walker now on the inside. Might just take second away.
Yeah, definitely got the preferred line. That car's sideways going through there.
Harding's car really is either high or low or diamond in the turns or apexing them. Seems to be able to drive just about anywhere on this track.
Yeah, just about, and it's a pretty difficult track to do that on.
So Walker still on the inside of Harding, pushing him out wide. I tell you what, that sign that's coming up real fast on the concrete says quit. Oh, you'd have to think about it.
Absolutely. Quit. Time to get out.
Yeah. Well, you'd be thinking, hang on, where is that big brake pedal in one of those?
Absolutely. Mark Wicks leading the way around there, showing the boys how it's done. Car handling beautifully.
Yeah, he's got the optimum setup for Adelaide International Raceway and got his first win and at the Calder Park Thunderdome earlier this season. We should say today sat on pole, which is a first for the Butch Jones Racing team.
Pretty good effort to come from the Thunderdome, win a race at the Thunderdome, then come and make all the changes that you need to make to set the car up for the flat track, and then be able to go out there and dominate the way he is.
Robert Wright now right on the tail of Scott Walker. He's trying the inside line of John Harding now because Harding... Oh no, here we go. Harding's starting to tap Wicks.
Yeah, a bit of a push there, a bit of a knock, let me through. I don't know, well, here he goes. Big charge out the outside. Can he do it? No, definitely not. Too far around that way.
Well, white flag is waving. We're on the last lap here at Adelaide International Raceway. Mark Wicks currently leads ahead of John Harding. Then we've got Scott Walker as well, and Robert Wright sits in 4th spot. Will we see cars going everywhere in the last turn?
Great to see these guys in action. No matter where they race, they always put on a fantastic show, don't they?
Well, almost incident-free. We've got 4 cars running to the checkered flag. Mark Wicks takes a great win for Butch Jones Racing. Here's a very happy winner. Let's go down to him with Nathan Prendergast.
We thought, we might go all right in Adelaide, but yeah, 2 wins in pole position and a lap record, I think, sort of sums it up. But the race was a lot harder than the first one. John Harding was really giving me just a couple of taps down the back to let me know he was there, and the last lap, he was right on me. I thought, no way, I'm going to let you go through here. I had to block him pretty hard, but yeah, no, good race.
Well, a great race for Mark Wicks, a very happy winner. Takes the win out. Ahead of Scott Walker in the Walker Transport car, John Harding, the Rose and Crown Hotel, Robert Wright and Paul Bongiorno in the Holden Quality Parts Cup. Here we go to a Konica spectacular moment, and this, George, shows how Adelaide can bite and bite hard.
Absolutely. Last season, short racetrack, little racetrack with a big bite.
And that is Dean Wanless going around. A big crash into the Ford Thunderbird. We're going to a break. We'll be back right after this with more action. Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway. Sun's going down. Connie Barrica on pole for the Konica Sportsman. And we've got to say, George Elliott, what a great job. He crashed in qualifying, leading the series, has won every race. he's rebuilt the car to get back out here.
Yeah, crashed in qualifying. They've worked all this time to get the car back, and he would have absolutely no idea what this car's going to do when it reaches the end of the straightaway and into turn 1.
Well, it is going to be a scary moment. In race 1, not many cars got past turn number 1. Converica, though, leads the field, and he asked us to say thanks to the team for helping him get out there, and also to Leanne Ross, who's further back in the field because he's gone and rattled the parts of her show car.
Yep, got the little genuine draft bonnet on there from Leanne Ross's car, and he's showing them the way around, so the car definitely has the handling package back together again.
Well, Ron Savas in second spot at the moment. Chris Robinson, our race 1 winner, in third spot. We've got action on the racetrack with Darryl Howden, the R&D Science Commodore. Had a bit of a problem there. We're under caution, and the pace car comes out. We'll pick up the field.
Ready for the restart. Start this time by, and Connie Varica is going to show them the way around again. Lap 10 of 25.
And Leanne Ross gets way out of shape there, coming into turn number 1. There goes Jerry Rowley in the Kerry Panels car. Car's going around. That's Savas. He's copped it big time. Gilliland's gone around as well. Cars every which way but Blues George.
How lucky was Leanne Ross? She went for the big outside pass there, got out high, probably in an area really wouldn't want to be in. But when the action happened, she drove right around the outside of it.
Well, she would be thanking her lucky stars. Lap 17 of 25. And we've got more problems on the racetrack. Cars have gone around again.
Well, you wanted a night of action. Here it is, Adelaide International Raceway.
Tony Howlett involved that time, unfortunately. But here's Converica currently leading the field. And we've got Chris Robinson right on his tail. There's Ron Savas. Leanne Ross, the number 5 car, doing pretty good job. Another restart.
What a job these Varica boys have done to be able to get that car back together like that.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job, and lap 23 of 25, it looks as though they might take a win, and I'll tell you what, it will be one that is well-deserved. We've got cars going again.
Still banging and trying to shuffle for positions, haven't got the damage in the front of that car.
That's Stuart Morrison there in the number 6 Holden Commodore. Converica, Chris Robinson and Graham Gilliland. Now our top 3 cars, but Varica has almost cleared out. And again, we cannot say enough how good a job he has done and the team.
Absolutely, got clear air in front of him now, and I'd say he's fairly comfortable at the moment.
Well, Stuart Morrison with that front bumper bar hanging off, he's going to hope that he makes it all the way through. Gilliland coming under some pressure there, the number 19 car, starting to give it to him. That's Mark Sutherland, but Sutherland won't be able to get past Leanne Ross right on his tail. White flag is out, last lap.
Leanne Ross working feverishly to try and get through the crowd there. Got the car handling pretty well. Fishtailed a little bit, but that's only because he's changing line, trying to get around either the outside or underneath the cars in front of them.
Here comes Varica out of turn number 4, puts the pedal down in the Varica Brothers Smash Repairs Falcon and takes a great win. Well done, Converica. Chris Robinson second, Gilliland third, and oh boy, Leanne Ross in 4th or 5th and in the wall.
That hurts after the checkered flag.
That does hurt our winner, though. Converica, disappointed Leanne Ross. Let's go down to Con with Nathan.
Kind of tremendous accomplishment to get this car back on the racetrack, but it looks like you've done it with a fair bit of help from a lot of people.
I can't believe it, actually. It's I'm shaking. I didn't expect to even finish the race, to be quite honest, but they got out there in a car that felt really good, so I just kept it rolling. I'd really like to thank all the guys on our team that helped us, especially some people that supply us some parts. We're the Rosses from Adelaide. It was sponsored by Miller Draft, so if it wasn't for Miller Draft and those people, I wouldn't have been able to put some panels on the car. Yeah, just thanks very much to everyone. I had heaps of support from other competitors as well, and family and friends. Yeah, I'm just stoked. Thanks.
It's Miller time for Connie Varica. A great win ahead of Chris Robinson. Graham Gilliland in 3rd. Mark Sutherland in 4th. Off Leanne Ross flouts the wall to take out position number 5. The AC Delco Cup cars are coming out for race number 2. George Elliott caught up with Jimmy Richards earlier and spoke to him about the controversial finish to race 1.
Jim Richards ran a great race there. A little bit unfortunate right towards the end of the race. Was your car going off?
Yes, we had a bit of a drama with brakes. Boiled the brake fluid, so we had no brake pedal. So we were slowing down, but we sort of, we could see Rodney coming, but there wasn't a problem. We had enough up, in our, I suppose you could say, in hand to beat him to the flag. Had he not, run into us. So I mean, yeah, it's a hard call, but I don't think he probably should have done what he did, because he had two wheels over in the dirt over the yellow line and using the pit entry road. So yeah, maybe it was a bit naughty, but we'll see what happens.
So Terry Wyhoon off to a fantastic start for the night, pole position, but unfortunately things didn't go to plan. What did it feel like, Terry?
Well, we started off sort of okay on that first lap, George, but it felt to me like, maybe the right front tyre was losing some air pressure. It was developing a fairly severe understeer, and it got worse and worse. And then on that third or fourth lap, whatever it was, I come onto the front straight with a lot of lock on, and yeah, she just went straight forward into the wall.
Well, that was Terry Wyhoon and a very gentleman Jimmy. Stay with us wherever you're watching. We're going to come back with the big bangers in the AC Delco Cup Race 2. Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway. The AC Delco Cup cars are on the track, and Terry Wyhoon leads them, along with Jimmy Richards on the front row. Kim and Rodney Jane take up row number 2.
Max Dumsey and Neville Lance. Row 4, Greg Murphy and John Maltseed.
And great to see Greg Murphy there. Jimmy Ellis on row 5, along with Bob Middleton. Ian Thomas and Paul Stocker rounds out the field. Lights are out on the pace car. The AC Delco Cup cars are ready to battle in race number 2 here at Adelaide International Raceway. 50 laps coming up.
Set for a fast race and a fast start.
Green flags waving. We're on board with Greg Murphy in the Clarion Champion Gold Chef Monte Carlo. Cars have gone around.
Neville Lance turned around. I was just about to say, Gerald, one of the things you really need to be careful on this racetrack is to actually standing on the gas too early, because you run the risk of lighting the tyres up on the back of the car, breaking loose and spinning out of control. That's exactly what we saw happen there with Neville Lance.
Well, Max Dumsey in the Valvoline Chef Monte Carlo comes onto the main straight under lights here. And cuts that corner fine. Everyone comes in just that number 1 corner. Terry Wyhoon out in front. Kim Jane second. Jimmy Richards in third.
Yeah, it's a tough way around this racetrack. You need to cut in tight there, let the car drift a little. It's nice if you can hold it down tight in the apex of the turn, but it's very difficult to do here at Adelaide. The corners are just so flat. Oh, Jimmy Richards tried to get up the inside of Kim Jane.
Wow, that was a very interesting one, and Jim Richards has gone back. He's having a dirty night.
Jim's not having a good night at all, is he?
Had a little bit of a laugh in the interview with you earlier, George. Very diplomatic.
He was trying hard to be diplomatic. It was quite an interesting interview.
Too, didn't he?
I pushed him a little bit there, but he couldn't quite come out with it.
Had the nose in the rule book.
Oh, I can't say that. Jimmy wouldn't own up to it. No, not Jimmy. He wouldn't put his nose in the rule book.
Jimmy now battling with Greg Murphy there, the Clarion Champion Gold Cup. There's Rodney Jane on the tail of Max Dumsney, who's not far behind Terry Wyhoon, but out in front it is Kim Jane in the 27, Bob Jane T-Mart Chef Monte Carlo.
What about this car of Terry Wyhoon's? How good's that going around? The car's all beat up. One side of it looks like a corrugated iron shed. I mean, if you had that car on the Thunderdome, it would have the handling characteristics of a waterbed.
Not a king coil.
No, not at all.
There's Kim Jane out in front. We should say Terry Wyhoon, as he said in the interview, and we picked it in race 1, perhaps it was a tyre going down. The car pushed severely very quickly straight into the wall, and he kept going and got some points.
Yeah, that would have hurt him dearly if he hadn't been able to get back out here again. I dare say that it has hurt him in the point score, but at least this will keep him back out there. It'll keep him in it.
We're on board with Greg Murphy here, the Clarion Champion Gold team, right on the tail of gentleman Jimmy Richards. He likes Jimmy so much he gives him a bit of a rub.
Nothing but a gentle kiss. Jimmy right up behind of Rodney Jane. I wonder what's going through Jimmy's mind at the moment. Do you think he'd be remembering that first race?
Gentlemen, don't kiss and tell. Is that right?
That's right, absolutely. Jim wouldn't enter his mind.
Neville Lance, very fast lap, 23.29 on lap number 4. Terry Wyhoon pushes out wide, coming on off 4 onto the main straight. There's Rodney Jane now on the tail of Max Dumsney. And John Sydney Racing would have to be very happy. Old John in the pits.
They certainly would be. Max right up on the tail of the BP car care car of Terry Wyhoon. Looking for a way around there. It's a difficult racetrack to pass on. Max trying to hold the car down really tight, but the trouble is holding it down there, aren't able to get on the gas and get the power down onto the racetrack.
What a class bunch of drivers we've got there too, George. We've got Terry Wyhoon, Max Dumsney, Jim Richards, Greg Murphy, 2 Bathurst 1000 winners are in there. Wyhoon, a great Speedway driver, as is Max Dumsney, and here's an up-and-coming guy, Rocket Rodney Jane, as well.
Absolutely great team of drivers and fantastic level of equipment. These cars are just beautifully prepared.
So Wyhoon still holding Dumsney out. There's John Maltz. Jimmy Ellis also back there. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, Jimmy's doing a good job. Yeah, he's hanging in there. He's really come to terms with this short track, hasn't he?
He's looking for a big result this weekend at the Adelaide International Raceway half-mile oval. And the car still jostling for position. Murphy's there on screen in that 34 car. And second race meeting in the AC Delco Cup cars. Did well at the Calder Park Goodyear Thunderdome, but succumbed to engine failure at the last race.
Yeah, it's tough. Looking at out of Greg Murphy's windscreen into the back of Jimmy. When I say into the back of Jimmy Richards, I'm almost literally.
Lap 10 of 50, as they say. Gentlemen, don't kiss and tell.
50 laps, you really know you've done a day's work when you do 50 laps. 50 laps around Adelaide. This is a really hard-working little racetrack.
Despite the fact that the conditions have cooled down, George, it's still hot.
Still very hot.
Adelaide International Raceway.
Very hot in the race car.
Very,
very hot, Jerry.
George, do many of the drivers actually wear the cool suits on a night like tonight?
No, they've actually gone away from the cool suits a little now because there weren't problems with the cool suits. The cool suit has to have a couple of tubes running through them that carry a cold liquid. And there were cases, in fact, I had a case one time myself where the tubes got pinched and it was almost like wearing a Glad bag. So what we're doing now is that we've got helmets that have fresh air pumped into them.
Did you ever find whoever pinched the tubes?
No, perhaps it was Gentleman Jim, who knows?
Wyhoon's still in second spot there. There's Rodney Jane, a fabulous race in race 1. Came in second spot and looking to get back to that position again or consolidate his night here at Adelaide International Raceway with another podium finish. Kim Jane, though, in control of this race.
Well, Rodney having a good night here. He's certainly got the car on the pace. He seems to have learned a little bit of patience, do you think, since the first race?
That's what it's all about. That's what has made people like Jim Richards successful. It is about patience.
Absolutely. Being patient, waiting for the brakes and being smooth. Terry Wyhoon sliding out of that turn there. That car's just remarkable considering the shape that the body is in and the work that crew must have put in. We heard Terry's wife Sue say that they had bent control arms, steering components had to be replaced. You know, it's a big call to be able to set a car up out here in Adelaide where you really don't have the garage areas that we have at Calder Park either. You've got a tent on a grass surface. To be able to set a car up from scratch and get it going around the turns like that, great effort.
I should say next time they come around turn number 1 into number 2, watch to the front wheels of these cars as well as the drivers get hard on the brakes. The brake discs start to glow at night time and glow quite hot.
Yeah, absolutely. This track is very, very hard on brakes. And we heard Jim Richards say earlier that he actually ran out of brakes because what happens, they get so hot that it actually boils the fluid. And once the fluid boils, then you lose your brakes. The pedal goes all the way to the floor. And it's not a good feeling in the pit of your stomach, I can tell you, when you reach the end of this straightaway at 140 or 150 miles an hour and nothing happens when you put your foot on the brake. Oh, Jimmy Richards around again. Greg Murphy, big tag there. Oh, did we say Jim was having a bad night?
It has been a horror night for gentleman Jim Richards. We're under caution here at Adelaide International Raceway for the AC Delco Cup. We're going to a break. Hang in there. We'll be back with more action after this. Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway, the AC Delco Cup. Race number 2, round number 4. We're on a restart after the caution, and gentlemen, Jimmy Richards' dirty night continues at AIR.
Certainly all to the back of his race car, I know that. These cars are grouped up nice and tight, aren't they? Great starts, fast starts. They're getting on the gas very, very early.
The back markers coming through there. Paul Stocker in his old Cutler Supreme, but there we've got Kim Jane out in front of Terry Waihoon, Max Dumsney, and also Rodney Rocket Jane. But Kim Jane just controlling the race and doing a fabulous job. There's the local boy, Bob Middleton, the White Line Transport cat car. Great to see him doing well.
Well, Terry Waihoon doing a fantastic job after major repairs after a huge accident. And Nathan Prendergast is down with his wife Sue in the pits.
Well, Sue, the car's on the track again and in better shape than it was from the first race. Was there a fair bit of damage between the races?
There was actually, yes. We've certainly done a steering arm, which we've had to borrow. It's certainly not one to fit the track, so we're just actually making do with what we've got. Didn't really find anything else wrong with it. Looked like it might have been a slow leak in a tyre that caused the problem. The car's not going too bad. A lot of times aren't really quick. He's hanging in there and doing a pretty good job, so that's all we can hope for.
Well, the car's stuck in third mode lately, so hopefully we can kick it up at least one more gear now and stay in that second spot or go for number one.
Well, we're really hoping to go for number one, but hey, we're happy with third. That's fine.
Well, this team is one that goes racing and enjoys themselves. That's Sue and Terry Waihoon. And looking back through the field, there's Bob Middleton again battling away with Neville Lance. Also, Greg Murphy looking the inside line, 3 abreast down the main straight.
Yeah, Neville Lance looking for the wide way around the racetrack there. I don't know how well that'll work for him, but, well, he's keeping it in one piece at the moment.
Kim Jane just doing a terrific job with the John Sydney Racing Chev Monte Carlo. Waihoon still out in front of Max Dumsney and Rod Jane. And onto the main straight, the short straight, pedal to the metal, off the pedal, onto the brakes, stuck left into turn number 1.
Well, girls, still anybody's race here. These guys are certainly keeping in touch. You know, Kim hasn't been able to get too much of a gap over Terry Waihoon, and Max Dumsney right behind him. Neville Lance looking for a way through there.
Jimmy Ellis we saw there about the copper tap off Neville Lance. See them on screen there. Oh, Murphy's gone out wide and whacked the wall side on. Ooh, that would have hurt Murphy.
Yeah, painful, absolutely.
We're under caution here at Adelaide International Raceway. There it is, the Clarion Champion Gold Chev Monte Carlo of Greg Murphy, the Bathurst 1000 winner.
Well, we spoke earlier just how hard this racetrack can bite you and how quickly it happens. There it was again.
And Greg Murphy, unfortunately, has paid the price, lap 36 of 50 here at Adelaide International Raceway, the AC Delco Cup. Round number 4, race number 2, and quite contrasting conditions to earlier this afternoon under the sun.
Absolutely, but this is what we came for. This is what's supplying the fast and furious action. You know, the conditions are a little cooler now. The cars are a lot faster. The drivers really dialed in. They're not so worried about looking after the cars because this is it. This is the pointy end of the stick.
Can you hear the music to Jaws? Is it safe to go back in the water? Well,
What
here we
are
go.
you
Jimmy
talking
Richards
about?
is right on the tail of Rocket Rodney Jane. And that Chevy Monte Carlo looks like it's a big shark.
That's a great comparison. That was deep, mate. That was really deep.
Oh, I tell you what, they come right out of the closet here. George G looks so good.
Get back to the racing. Look at Max Dumsney out wide. Rodney tried to get up underneath him, but didn't quite get there. Max shut the gate at the last, or was it the cage? Shut the cage at the last minute.
Lap 43 of 50 round the Adelaide International Raceway. Race number 2. Round 4, Kim Jane still out in front of Terry Waihoon and Max Dumsney and Rodney Rocket. Jane in the Oscar alloy wheel. Chev Monte Carlo is starting to pressure, and here comes Jimmy Richards again.
Well, just looking at the rear end of Jimmy Richards' car there, extensively damaged, and that would definitely be playing havoc with that car. The wing not able to do its job, not able to get the downforce happening, and it would certainly be loose coming out of the turns.
Unlike the Thunderdome, we should mention, George, that the cars don't have those wings laid back a little bit. They're virtually straight up and down.
Yeah, the idea of that is to try and get more downforce on the back of the car. Because these turns are so flat, you really need to try to get the back of the car to stick, otherwise they come very, very loose. Stand the wings up a little straighter, that creates more downforce aerodynamically and helps them to get through the turns.
Kim James, John Sydney Racing prepared Chev Monte Carlo just looks so good on screen. Here comes Dumpsey down the inside of Terry Wyhoon. The 25 BP Car Care Ford Thunderbird holds out the Valvoline car. Max Dumpsey that time around.
Well, I'd say Terry Wyhoon holding him out through sheer determination. Max definitely the quicker through the turn. So is Rodney and Jim. The three of those cars are faster than Terry through the turn, but they've got to get around him to be able to pull away.
Well, they're all looking for different lines that time down the front straight and into turn number 1. Here they come. Richards now is tucked in on the line. Here comes Neville Lance as well.
Yeah, the gaps are closing up for all these cars, getting the pointy end of the stick. This is the end that means business.
And the brakes blowing on Rod James' car. Just looked amazing.
I'd say most of these guys are probably experiencing some sort of brake fade, which is not to be mixed up with brain fade. And, you know, as we spoke earlier, it makes it very difficult to get into that racetrack, but you put on the pedal and nothing happens.
There's Rodney Jane now with Richards right on his tail. Dumpsney looking down the inside of Wyhoon. Look at the brakes on the car there. The number 3 one in 3rd spot. Well, actually 4th spot on the racetrack. And they come out onto the main straight again. The laps are counting down.
His brake pad's almost on fire at the end of the straightaway. Just amazing that, you know, the incredibly high temperatures that the brake fluid can stand.
Dumpsney looking for every which way past Terry Wyhoon. That gap just closes up. They look how quick now. Neville Lance is right on all their tails.
Terry drifting out wide there. The white flag's waving. There's 1 lap to go. Can Terry Wyhoon, he's sideways. Oh, he's got a little bit of a tap there from Max. Max has gone for an opening that just wasn't there.
How is that? Rodney James in the 2nd. Neville Lance is in the 3rd. Just amazing. Kim Jane's going to come around and take the win. We're under caution. No more passing. And that will be the order. Kim Jane, the Bob Jane T-Mart car, takes the checkered flag. A great win here at Adelaide International Raceway. Rodney Jane in the 2nd, and Neville Lance, a surprise 3rd spot. Jim Richards and Wyhoon miss out. Let's go down to Kim Jane.
Well, Kim, back to your old form, 2 from 2. You're getting pretty used to it, but a great showing considering last round was pretty disastrous.
Yeah, well, a 9th place last round when hitting the wall, finishing 5 laps back. You know, tonight the guys have just done such a great job on the Monte Carlo. Like, it just hooked up coming out of the corner so well, and we could just pull away at ease really, and it was just a matter of keeping it together from there and bringing home the bacon.
Now that's 2 races, Jane 1 and Jane 2, and 2 for John Sydney. Great team.
Well, that's a first, isn't it? Kim Jane first, Rodney Jane second. I thought he'd be a while longer getting there, but he's done such a great job, and he's obviously drive very sensible in the 2nd race and brought it home in 2nd. So well done, Rod.
Well, very happy winner there. Kim Jane in the Bob Jane T-Mart car takes out another win. Rodney Jane, as he said, in 2nd spot. Neville Lance in 3rd. Jim Richards in 4th. And Jimmy Ellis, a great result for 5th. The AC Delco race point scoreboard. Kim Jane and Jim Richards lead the field. Terry Wyhoon, a great job in 3rd. Rodney Jane in 4th. And Neville Lance round out the top 5 in the championship scoreboard. We look forward to seeing you again at the Goodyear Thunderdome for round number 5.